Thanks for joining us on Key Factors, presented by theraceguide.com.au. Stu Rich and Mike Wood here to take you through another big weekend at Randwick. It's Randwick Guineas Day, but the big wets come, Mike. I think we've had 100 mils this week. There were 100 acceptances as well, but I don't think that's going to be holding up.
No, Winks odds we're going to lose 20, 30, 40, hopefully not too many. But the good news is the weather's getting better, the forecast is better, so hopefully the meeting will go ahead.
Yeah, look, we're not weather forecasters, guys, that's for sure. One thing we do know, though, the rail last week, it was hard up against it. I think it took the jockeys about 8 races to get it right.
No one knew what was going on. I wish Bowman knew before he saddled up at Ome Sword what was going on. Collett, pull his pants down up the inside and got the win. Ome Sword, what a return, though. What a great filly.
Yeah, that was huge. Did cost us the Cordy, I've got to admit, but great runs. Dixie Blossoms and Your Way. Let's get into it this weekend. It's the Challenge Stakes to kick us off. What a bunch of speedballs to kick off the day here. We've got Red Zell, Ball of Muscle getting out in front. Melbourne Raiders all day in the quaddy legs this week. Heavily scratched, but we've got Jungle Edge and Sapedo making the trip up the highway as well. And how about the old sexy trialer English? She returns again after winning this race last year.
As soon as you see those trials, you want to reach for your tab app and put the bet on. But let's hold up and do the analysis first and see what happens. Group 2, 1,000 metres. Fair to strong tempo, a few going forward, obviously, in a 1,000-metre scamper. Look, the conditions obviously wet on Saturday. It might dry a little bit, but soft 7 to heavy 10s to forecast. And a fair bias, we think, but we're not sure. It could be off rails. It could be near rails like Saturday. So keep a really close eye on that with the rail out 4 metres. Across the 3 key factors to kick us off, heavy track all afternoon has to be a key factor. Royal Randwick, only some sprinters enjoy these conditions at Royal Randwick and positioning run. You need the gun run in a testing sprint like this.
Well, let's bring up the market here for the challenge, and we've got to note a lot of these horses have absolutely fantastic winning records, really knowing how to get their nose out in front when it matters. But there's a sexy trialer English. She's on top at $3.20. Red Zell in behind $3.80. Ball of Muscles right there. Dalciello. Sapedo's there. But how about some of these winning records? Red Zell 5 from 13. Ball of Muscle 8 from 25. And Sapedo 6 from 10. There's some real quality winners here.
I'm not sure who's going to come second or third because they all like to win, don't they? But there's a big speedster in Red Zell here and a big swooper in English. So let's start off with the big speedster, Red Zell. First up, last prep. Doing what he does out in front in the red. Felines trying to keep up with him in the blue and white. Just behind him, not doing a very good job, and wouldn't be nice running on well, Stu.
Yeah, this is a horse that knows how to do one thing, jump and run and break their hearts, and look at him just keep extending. He loved the way he just kept going to the line, breaking Felines is hard here.
Well, absolutely. They figured him out, this horse. He's best ridden on the pace, breaking their hearts like he does here. Felines, look, she's a two-faced mare, isn't she? She's awful outside of Randwick, but she's fantastic at Randwick.
All right, back at Randwick this weekend, we'll see. Let's have a look at the sexy trialer English. She did win this race last year. Let's take you back to that race, and this was off, importantly, 2 trial wins as well.
Well, almost cut and paste a year later, isn't it? Deceiving race, this one. Ball of Muscle going quite quick in the lead. Felines, no cover outside of him, fighting on okay. English waiting patiently for her run to pounce, and the white cap with the red sleeves at the back. And she does, doesn't she?
Yeah, just about to slice through here along the rail. Still isn't there yet. Only now gets going. But I don't know. You've got to love the way she does finish here. But these, I don't know. How do we rate this going first up this week?
Well, it was a strong tempo, so the 2 on paces were quite good. English, if she repeats that and the tempo is strong again, obviously she's favoured.
Well, look, it is all about English last prep. Let's have a look at the key factors here. Randwick, wet track, it's got to be a key factor all day.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're not sure how most of these sprinters are going to handle a heavy track. English has never been on a heavy track before, and looking at that, we're not giving punters much of a lead, are we, for this race on a wet track? Heavily been scratched. Probably a smart move from the stable to stay in Melbourne. We weren't sure about him, but the rest of them, not all of them are proven, but they seem okay, we think. Across to Randwick, look, we know English loves Randwick, and we just talked about Felines. She only ever performs at Randwick over the 1,000 metres. And across to position and run, really love the way this race sets up for Ball of Muscle, getting the gun run behind Red Zell. The last time he took a sit, he almost beat Buffering in a Group 1, and Felines gets the run behind him.
All right, not too much gold there across the page. Let's bring up the overall ratings here. And, well, look, English, she burned us a little bit last preparation. Where's she? She's there, but there's 3 equal top raters here. Nothing really there in between, but Felines, here's one that's absolutely snuck up. $11, I think, in the market, and $11 points in the rating.
Well, yeah, this show's all about the key factors, obviously. It doesn't take long to look at your form gun and realise Felines loves first up, loves 1,000 metres, loves Randwick, and loves a wet track. So even though she's probably not the same quality as English overall, English a bit of a risk for a positioning run back on the inside from that barrier. So Felines each way has to be the play for us at those odds when they're equal top raters. So the best bet is Felines. And for the value bet, going with the trifecta. There were 4 horses, clear top raters there. So if you box them in a trifecta for a value bet, you're doing quite well.
All right, a little bit of value there to start the quaddie with felines. Let's jump ahead to the Randwick Guineas. It is the Group 1 feature race of the day, over the mile. What a stallion-making race this has been. We've had Done Deal, Dissident, Hallowed Crown over the last few years. But I just can't wait for this edition. There's a real Aussie colloquial term here with the Fibros versus the Silvertails. We've got Echo Effect, the ultimate warrior out in front. Invincible Gem's going to be there. And who's going to be doing the chasing? It's the $1 Million Colts. So that's what I'm looking forward to here.
Love your excitement, Stu. Makes you excited about the race, doesn't it? Such a different contrast in the types of horses in this Group 1. 1,600 metres, a fair to strong tempo, we think. Cross the 3 key factors. Look, a heavy track once again has to be a key factor. Royal Randwick, some of these 3-year-olds will prefer the track, some won't. And position and run, looking for the right run as well.
Well, as we have a look at the betting, it usually is the expensive colts that top a race like this. And having a look there, it is coming through on top. One of those colts at $4.60. Man from Uncle there, well, look, he's beaten coming through home. That's last 2 at $6. Inference, we've got Prized Icon probably heading to Melbourne by reports today. Echo Effect, a tough warrior there. And there's Invincible Gem. They're the 2 tough on paces. But that's the form line outside of the Hobartville, but that's what we want to concentrate on, the Hobartville.
Well, definitely. There's one of your 2 favourites here in this race in both of these replays. So we'll start with looking at Echo Effect on pace. You almost got the chockies for your last start, Stu. Getting a really good ride from Paul King in the pink sleeves and the pink cap at a steady tempo. Man from Uncle chasing, also in similar colours, pink sleeves, coming through 3 wide. Inference from the back coming widest, and Akatua through the pack, green with a baldy face.
Yeah, so much to look at here, especially for those in behind. But let's concentrate up front. Echo Effect, Man from Uncle just keeps lifting and lifting late. I love the way he just got there as well.
Well, really close finish. Looking at the sectionals will help us. The last 200 metres, Man from Uncle, Inference, and Akatua were the best.
Pretty bunched in behind there as well.
Such a close finish.
Yeah, well, let's have a look something outside those form lines. We're going to take you to Invincible Gem. This is just a few weeks ago at Randwick on the Monday. Got a pretty peach sit just in behind, and here's another real tough on-pace horse that's absolutely flying.
Well, it's quite deceiving. It looks like a peach, doesn't it? Because she travels so well, but she's almost like a female northerly. She's got no, well, maybe not quite as good. She's got no right to keep going on pace. This is a strong tempo. You watch the other on paces drop off. But Invincible Gem just keeps lifting all the way to the line. What do you reckon, Stu?
Well, we spoke about breaking a Hearts horse before. There goes Captain Duffy on the inside. How much does he get beaten by?
Get beaten by 11 lengths, and he's still turning up on Saturday in the Group 1, so good luck to him.
Yeah, that turned out to be a very easy win there. Well, there's a couple of replays. We've got the Hobartville and one outside it. Let's have a look at the key factors here. Obviously, wet track, but scope here as well.
Well, yeah, we talked about some different key factors before in the intro. The actual 3 ones for this race are heavy track, distance and scope. Looking down the page, look, we're not sure about the Fastnet Rock Colt coming through on a heavy track. And also Invincible Gem. She's got the confirmation to enjoy a wet track, but just her racing style, it's going to be so hard for her to execute that on the track on Saturday. Looking at distance, there are 3 horses suited there. Echo Effect, maybe the last 100 metres is a risk for him. And everyone at home will have their own opinion of which horse has got the most scope. There's the 3 that we like.
All right, only seeing 1 gold bar there for old Echo Effect and Invincible Gem. Let's bring up the overall ratings. It is Man from Uncle on top at 12 there. Then it's the expensive Colts in behind. We've got Inference, Akatora and coming through. But there's Echo Effect and Invincible Gem. They're not too far out of it. I'm happy enough with that.
Well, they're not too far out of it. Maybe we're underrating them. Maybe they've got more scope than these fancy horses, don't they, Stu? They'll keep surprising us and keep progressing, but we've marked them down on scope. We think some of these other horses will progress more second and third up, and we really think Akatua is going to lap up the wet track. He's a Sebring, tough type that should love Randwick. That's why he's boosted up our ratings, even though he was out the back there in that lead-up race. So Akatua is the one for us, similar to Felines. Each way, definitely. We think he'll be surging home and smashing the line. And let's risk coming through in the value bet, exactly for those other 3 top raters.
All right, risk the fave there, and a lot more value for the second leg of the quaddie. That's a really exciting first 2 legs of the quaddie. We'll be back with legs 3 and 4 straight after the break. Welcome back to Key Factors, presented by theraceguide.com.au. It's been a really exciting start to the quaddie, but I'll tell you what, I couldn't get too excited about this race. But then one thing sparked my eyes. It was the Godolphin fact that they're just not winning much lately at all in the slightest. But then I had a look and I've seen Abdallah, Shin, Clark, they're all booked. So I reckon they're throwing the kitchen sink at this race.
Well, they have to, don't they? They're just not getting Saturday winners lately, and it's sort of 3 from the last 45 or 46 winners for them. So They need to win this race. Let's look at the way it sets up for them. Group 3, 1,600 metres, fair to steady tempo. We talked about the wet track. We talked about the fair bias, we think, but we're not 100% sure. We'll keep a close eye on that on Saturday. So across the 3 key factors for this race. The heavy track is always a key factor for all these quality legs on Saturday and all the first races as well, obviously. Weight, there's a bit of a weight squeeze down the bottom of this race. Some of these horses should be getting less weight if it wasn't for the minimum. And scope, there's one particular horse we have to factor in their improvement.
Well, I said it might not be the most eye-catching race, but there's definitely value in a race like this. Let's have a look at the market, and there's El Lou. That was a horse that got absolutely backed off the map last start. Got the cash, opens up favourite here, $5. We've got Circular and Allegra out. There's 2 for Godolphin in behind. And Zaritza, well, $7 there. Bit of specking there for top of my list. I think it was 17 into about, well, here it is. Well, it's $11 there. Thought it was a bit less than that, but the money's come. But interesting race.
Well, it came in, went out a couple of reels, didn't it? So let's have a look at a couple of these replays. And first of all, let's start with probably the best form reference and then go maybe to a lesser midweek race to see how we line these up. This is the Group 2 Millie Fox we're looking at first of all. Circular is the one we're looking at in the Godolphin blue, back in the pack, running on. She just comes to the outside here and gives a little bump to Saritza, and Saritza doesn't need much of an excuse to play up. She veers out wider now in the light blue.
No, Hal Moreira's got the job. Waller's thrown him under the bus there this week to ride, but Circular, yeah, look, running on really well in behind. Take nothing away from this run. This is just a good, solid run in Group 2 company.
Well, yeah, exactly. It looks like a boring run running on, but you've got to remember it's Group 2, back to Group 3 on Saturday. Now she's third up, and she's only a length away from Den Magic, who was obviously right up there in the Group 1, so great form reference.
There you go. Let's have a look at a winner. Top of my list last start, one that I said the money's absolutely come for this week, into $11. Here she's out the back in the white and the pink and the purple there, taking the slice through, loves the mud. This was a heavy 10 at Warwick Farm.
Well, we think she loves the mud. Obviously, she handled it this day. This is the thing about this race is it's so far down in grade. It's about 15 kilograms difference between the 2 races we just looked at. But she's a beautiful daughter of High Chaparral. She's from the Anthony Cummings stable. She hasn't had too many starts so far. Look, she gets to the front. Does she idle down here, Stu? I'm not sure, but she gets the job done.
Yeah, gets the job done. I thought the same thing, but I like the way she just switched on there at the end. Didn't have to do much. Job done.
Yeah, she's a really classy horse on the rise with scope.
Well, there's a winner. Let's have a look at the key factors here, because that's what we're going to guide you into. Another winner.
Well, yeah, heavy track first of all. Look, El Lou, we think of her as a wet tracker, don't we? But it's usually a soft track. Her heavy track stats are a risk, and up to 1,600 metres, maybe not ideal on a heavy track. Down the page, there's the Mudder Song and Laughter from a family of ducks. She absolutely swims through it. She's quite well weighted, Song and Laughter as well, along with a few others. But top of my list, like we said, way up in grade. The thing is, how much scope do you factor in for her? She's the one on the rise.
Just looking at that, I mean, I'm a little bit confused there. El Lou, absolutely no gold at all for the favourite, but solid enough across. Let's bring up the overall ratings to see where they all line up. And, Godolphin on top here. This is an interesting one. So a bit of stable form reversal here.
Well, yeah, I'm sure John O'Shea will be happy to look at the key factors ratings and see himself on top, but he'll be happy once he gets that Saturday win. It won't be much at all. So, look, Circular's on top from Allegra there and a couple not far off. Let's go across the best bet, and it is Circular for us. She's a better form reference, the Group 2 form reference, we think. She has faced a soft 7 before, and she's done really well. She's won that race, so there's no reason to think she won't handle a heavy, but you never know till you see it. And once again, we're doing these trifectas all day, aren't we? There's a gap back to 5th, so we'll box the top 4 again, including top of my list.
Well, it's such a big test, isn't it, Randwick, this weekend, especially in this wet.
Yep.
Let's have a look at the last leg. We've got Godolphin doing a bit of a bounce back there. I've got to mention a horse here, Allergic. They were jumping out of the trees to back this horse. It wasn't the lobsters, it was the avocados that were coming out. I reckon in an absolute stinker. It was pretty horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't a great run from Allergic, wasn't it? And I think half the Sky Racing studio tipped it, you tipped it, I tipped it, we both backed it, we both lost on it. Let's see how he does in this race. Listed 2,000 metres, the tempo is fair, the conditions are wet like we talked about before, and the bias is up in the air. So across the 3 key factors for the 2,000 metre race to finish off the day, the heavy track once again. Interestingly, both the last 2 races on the day both have a weight squeeze. So some of these horses down the bottom of the weights aren't advantaged. And stage of preparation is a really good one for these days too, looking for horses 2nd and 3rd up on the rise.
Well, one of the biggest things punters have to ask themselves is, when do I forgive a horse? Let's have a look at this market and see where Allergic comes up. He's just there in behind. The money hasn't come yet, and I'm going to focus on yet because it all came late last start. But it's classic uniform on top, $4.20, that really strong on-pace roller. Love to see him. Our Century up from Melbourne for Robert Hickmont. Allergic's there, $6. Astronomos, Montauk. There's a lot of good horses here. I've got to make note, Cafe Society, only one trainer could do this. First up, after racing against the hurdles, and Gay.
Yeah, absolutely. First up over 2,000 metres. You know it's Gay straight away when you see that. We have to look at this first replay. Unfortunately, we've been talking about it for the last couple of minutes. Let's have a look at Classic Uniforms win and Allergic's loss. Classic Uniforms won the green and yellow on pace, rolling along like he does. Allergic already under pressure on the turn in the Godolphin Blue, Stu.
Yes. Now it's in the blue. Yeah, I don't think it's doing much at all. Really interesting to see how he does come out of the race. So I'm going to focus on Classic Uniform here. Love the way this horse just fights. Love the way he lifted late too.
Well, he gets on pace, he lifts. He's got fantastic surge for an on-pace horse, which is why he's got such a great record. There's Dark Eyes, just a few lengths off them in the white, coming wider. He won next start, beating Montauk by a big margin. There's Allergic. He was only okay, but the bias was off rails and he was second up. Maybe you can excuse him.
Maybe you forgive, we'll see. Let's have a look at a winner. Our Century coming up from Melbourne for Robert Hickmott, as we said. This was a really good run. Went forward, showed some adaptability and really toughed it out.
Well, he's in those Hickmott colours, isn't he? The blue and white on pace, second up over 2,400 metres. So almost like the Gay Waterhouse stable. They do try and step these horses up in distance. But this is a horse who's got form around Hartnell, some Group 1 and Group 2 types in England. He had a long 2-year break. He's only had a few starts in Australia and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this win at all, Stu.
No, he kept going there. Was that a little bit of acceleration from the 300 as well?
Yeah, can quicken, can finish off. He's a really classy stayer if he's really fit.
All right, so we've got to weigh that up as well. Let's have a look at the key factors as we roll out the quaddie.
Yeah, so looking for heavy track stayers first of all. Well, hang on a second. 3 gold bars for Allergic. Let's have a quick look at that. So he loves a heavy track. He's well weighted. And we think he might improve third up. So Allergic gets the 3 gold bars for the second time running. Looking at other horses, Montauk, look against these classy stays over 2,000 metres, the heavy track has to be a risk for him. Looking at weight, Lord de Air and Shalmanese are out of their grade. And Classic Uniform maybe doesn't have the improvement of our Century and Allergic. He's deep into his preparation now.
Oh dear, gold bars across the page for Allergic. I'm definitely not in the forgive camp. Let's have a look at the overall ratings to see what those gold bars do. I hope we got one against him. Yes, it's our Century, so we do have equal top raters there, but Allergic, are you in the forgive camp?
Well, we're not sure, are we? Sometimes you've got to look at the data, sometimes you've got to go with your gut, and probably on this one, splitting between those two, because they're similar odds, we've gone with our gut and we've gone against him. Our Century just feels better for a bet, doesn't he? First time in Sydney, Karen McAvoy on board, almost like a Galante feel about him. He obviously won the Sydney Cup. He could progress to better races than this, and he could really firm on Saturday. So we'll go with him for the best bet for the win. And another trifecta, the top 4 raters with a gap to 5th. We've got to box them again. All
right, our Century there in the last. Well, look, we know it's going to be wet this weekend. We need the mutters for this quaddie.
Yeah, no dry track quaddie at all for this weekend. We almost got it last week, just Ome Sword. Look, a really simple one, really. Looking across the page, it's just the 4 top raters in every single race, apart from race 7. We're risking coming through the Fastnet Rock Colt, who's just too short for mine. He's an exciting horse that everyone loves. That's why he's too short. There's definitely some value throughout those 4 legs. Felines, obviously, Song and Laughter on top of my list. And finishing off with even Kinema, who's a classy stayer for Wallace, second up.
Well, there's a look at our mutters for the quaddie this weekend. It's obviously going to be a wet testing track out there, so the race guides are going to be all important. They're going to be online Friday 9 a.m. and all important updates Saturday morning as well. But look, hope you jag a piece of the quaddie this weekend. It's going to be a great day out there at Randwick, and that's all from us here at Key Factors, and we'll see you again next week.
Cheers, good punting.